rather be in a car driving track than just about anywhere else.
Hey everyone, it's Greg from WapCar, and today we are taking a look at the Lexus LBX, which is a small car that costs from 239,000 ringgit all the way up to 270,000 ringgit depending on the variant and colour choice. The one I have here today costs 270,000 ringgit. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How do you justify a tiny car with a not so tiny price tag? I think I'll let someone more qualified than me explain.
People think big is luxury and small is economical. But that's not true.
See? That's not true. Small doesn't always mean cheap. And if you still can't accept that fact, then tune out. Okay, the Lexus LBX is not made for you. It's made for the same group of people who will spend 4, 5, maybe even 6 figures on a watch that tells only the time. Or maybe even on a pair of sneakers. And you might think that they're flexing their wealth, but some of these products, trust me, they can fly very, very well under the radar. A bit of stealth wealth, if you will. Quiet luxury. Or there's even another term for it.
This LBX, that's kind of casual luxury. The car is as comfortable as my sneakers.
So in today's video, I won't go into the nitty-gritty of the Lexus LBX. In fact, there's more than enough info like that on WapCar.my, so just log on and compare it against its competitors yourself, okay? Today, I want you to do this. Turn the logical side of your head down and turn up the feels. Because together, we're going to learn about the Lexus LBX and its subjective elements and why I think this car carries so much weight within the Lexus lineup. Beginning with the name itself, LBX, Lexus Breakthrough Crossover. And in case you didn't notice, this is only the second model to carry a 3-letter name. The first, the Lexus LFA. That's how big of a deal this car is and how much emphasis was placed in its development. It might sound like marketing fluff, but trust me, the LBX isn't a cash grab exercise. So the story of its development goes something like this, alright? When big boss Akio Toyoda took a look at all the cars available to him within the company's arsenal, such as the Century and even the Alphard, they were good executive cars, but he wanted something that he could take to the shops himself over the weekend. If the Alphard or LM was the business suit, then where is the casual but super comfortable weekend attire? According to design chief Simon Humphries, Akio stressed that there needed to be, I quote, a car that broke down the hierarchy in the same way we see in the fashion world. The more opportunities you have to dress up, the more liberated you feel when you dress down, without sacrificing quality and attention to detail. And that last bit to me, I feel, is the core philosophy behind the Lexus LBX and why it's so good and so underrated. You see, everyone today wants the X factor in their cars, but there's something so refreshing about a car that just wants to do the fundamentals right. Doesn't matter if it's a big car or a small car. To really ram home the geekiness of this car in the best way possible, understand this. The Lexus LBX is built on the TNGA-B platform, which forms the basis for the European market Yaris Cross. However, there were a lot of quote-unquote wrongs with the foundation, with one of them being that the hip point was too high and Mr. Chairman no want that. In fact, he insisted on so many changes that the LBX, despite sharing a platform with the Yaris Cross, has a differing wheelbase, track width, steering rack angle, suspension geometry, pedal placements and seating position. All that work and you can't even show it off to anyone. I mean, yes, you get a dynamic looking, proportionate, compact SUV that looks expensive but not overly striking. Now, are you starting to see what kind of customers the Lexus LBX is aiming for? And speaking of not showing off, it's the interior layout that really shines for me. Step inside and the first thing you'll notice is how pleasant and serene the interior is. A major difference from other luxury brands of today where there's ambient lighting this and 100 screens that. It's almost Mazda-like in here in the way that it's so uncluttered and focused. Almost everywhere you touch, it's either leather or soft touch surfaces. And the seats themselves are very comfortable. They offer plenty of support, just enough support I would say for my lower back and sides. Although thigh support is a little bit lacking. Now elsewhere, you get a 9.8-inch touchscreen for the infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay, but Android Auto is still wired. And then you also get a 360-degree camera, and up ahead there's a 12.3-inch digital cluster. All very good so far, but as it is with a small car, there are some glaring drawbacks. Now first off, the front passenger seat and the steering adjustment, that's manual, okay? And then lower down, we've got 3 USB-C ports and 1 power socket, so charging your devices, it's not a problem. There's also a wireless charger, but the storage space beneath the shifter is small, it's tiny. And then the glove box itself, that's tiny as well. And then you only get 1 cup holder up front, and then the center armrest is comically small. Opening it up, as expected, space not much, and you only get 1 extra cup holder. And you can just about slot a card in the cutout right here, and down below, the door bins are just about right for 1 small water bottle. Now as for the rear, I'm 6 feet tall, and no, I'm not even going to bother with the tennis balls because as you can see, 0 knee room, 0 leg room, 0 headroom. You do get 2 USB-C ports, so I guess that's a nice token, but otherwise, pfft. And the boot, well, that measures just 315 litres. Look, I'm not going to make any excuses for it, okay? If you buy the Lexus LBX as a family car, you've got it all wrong. It's not a spacious, practical car at all. It's designed to be enjoyed by you, first and foremost. And speaking of that, shall we? Okay, quick specs for the Lexus LBX. So we have a hybrid powertrain consisting of a 1.5-litre 3-cylinder engine paired to an electric motor juiced up by a bipolar nickel metal hydride battery, resulting in a total of 136 horsepower. All that drive gets sent to the front wheels via an eCVT, and the 0 to 100 time is quoted at 9.2 seconds. On paper, not the most impressive, but as always, it's never about the numbers. It's more about how it feels, or in this case, how it sounds. Now, for a non-performance focused car and without any artificial piped-in nonsense, it actually sounds really good. So we've established that straight line speed isn't the priority here, but when you're rolling, the car does pick up pretty easily. It feels really light and eager to get going. Does it feel underpowered at times? Yes, most definitely. The chassis can take way more power than this. So as for ride and handling, first off, the steering itself, it's pretty vague in feel, but it is sharp and responsive enough. And then the ride itself, it's a little bit on the firm side, but still an acceptable balance of comfort and sporty handling. Now, some of you may even scoff at its rear torsion beam, but for what it is, I feel that the setup is as pliant and as comfortable as anything else with a more complex setup. And body control is amazing. On long highway runs, the car is so planted and so stable despite its short wheelbase, and then you can also feel it rotating through corners when you're really pushing it. Then, hard acceleration and braking doesn't upset the balance at all, and key to that is the vehicle braking posture control. So this feature automatically balances front and rear brake force distribution to effectively reduce pitching and diving. It's a bit like Mazda's GVC Plus actually. And the best part is that you get all of this guilt-free with a tested 4.4 litres per 100 kilometers. No plug-in hybrid nonsense here, just the good old hybrid concept done right. And so here we are with the Lexus LBX. Now, does it encapsulate the whole big things come in small packages saying? To me, it does. Because the work that has gone into this car is borderline fanatical, and it shows in the way it drives, in the way it rides, in the way it handles, in the way it carries itself. Again, much like Akio Toyoda's favorite pair of sneakers, it's unassuming but so effective at doing its job in getting you from A to B in relative comfort, style, and driving zeal in a package that's made just for you. And maybe the occasional passenger and some luggage. And that's why the Lexus LBX is so refreshing. It's the fundamentals done just right. Nothing more, nothing less. Sure, of course, there are flaws to the car and some of them are quite glaring, but if it's just you and maybe your better half, and the two of you want a small, properly premium car, it's more than enough. And in the world where everyone is screaming for attention in their large MPVs and SUVs, you have the little Lexus LBX whispering the right words. And that, to me, will always mean so much more.